Welcome to the Deprogram Show. I'm your host, RMJR. I got a very special guest in the building, a community activist, a rapper. She wear many hats. Y'all, y'all better get to know her. If you don't know her, she been putting it down for many years. We got in the house. This is a king speaking to a queen. Feline the Queen. What's up, my sister?
What's up? What's up, people? It's good to be here. So, go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. My bad. Do your thing.
I was just gonna say, as he was saying, I am a rapper and Black activist. I've been doing this, putting this down for almost 2 decades now. I consider myself a vet in the rap game. Might not be well known, but the people who know me, they know my word is bond. I'm good.
Okay. So since I got you here for a little bit, let's talk about why is it that us as activists who rap, who really putting it down, why you think we get overlooked?
Because it's a message. Whether people want to admit it or not, there is a grand scheme agenda that's basically at this point utilizing rap to dumb down our community, to bring death and destruction to our community. A lot of that did start during the gangster rap era, but the industry been trying to control rap for at least 3 decades now. And with the control that they have recently gained within, I guess, like probably 5-10 years, they've been able to do some serious damage. So any artist that is conscious, that's kicking knowledge to the people, about bettering themselves, they're going to keep them under the radar. They're not conscious Black artists are not going to get record deals like that. Now they may have to pull a few of us out, like the few like J. Cole and whatnot. Who else? Kendrick. They're gonna have to pull some of them out just to make it seem like they not discriminating. But truth be told, even their message is censored. So it's harder for a conscious rapper because music is detrimental to our community, especially the Black community. We have done everything to music. We sung, slave hymns that got us through the day. Long hot summers of picking cotton, we were singing out there. We sung in church. We've come up with so many different genres of music, from not just rap, rock, you know what I'm saying? It's even suspect that we came up with classical too. So music is very big and it's a huge cornerstone in the Black community. So they're gonna do whatever they can to control that, because our music gives us hope. We don't just listen to music for recreation, it gets us through hard times. So if they're trying to control a population of people, which they are, you use the tools that controls the people. And music have always been a major tool for the Black community to draw our source of strength from. So with that being said, that's why it's hard for conscious rappers, because the industry wants to censor the message. They want us to put out garbage and things that's going to dilute our community and our unity. That's just, that's my take on it.
So how do we push the message, even though they got a censor on us, the real ones? How do we push the message? Well, what do you think we need to do to push the message?
That got a lot to do with individual integrity. That depends on each artist. How much are you willing to sell out? Now, I'm not going to front. All of us sell out a little bit. I mean, even not just rappers, humans in general. Sometimes you might take that job that you work more, but you take it because you have to at that time to feed your family or whatever. So we all sell out a little bit. But I'm talking about, the major points where you compromising your standards and beliefs. Knowing it's wrong to be putting this kind of music out, and even if you don't understand the ramifications of what it might do to the community, within your heart and within your soul that what you're putting out is more than likely not a good influence, and you're not being a good role model. So a lot of that goes back to each individual rapper having their own standard and putting music out here that has a standard to it, and saying, I might make this club song, but I'm not gonna make an ass clap song. You know what I'm saying? So drawing a line in the sand, especially if you sign and saying that this is me, this is who I am as an artist, this is my message. Now my message may, you know, I may can bend my message a little bit to reach a different audience, but at the end of the day, who I am, my core beliefs, I'm not folding on that. I'm not selling out on that. And what conscious rappers can do collectively is come up with moral codes, you know, and put out some type of code that says that we're going to do whatever we can to uplift the community, knowing the key role that we play. I think a lot of rappers at this point may not understand to the full extent the role that we play in the Black community. I mean, we went from self-destruction in the 80s, you know, where you had conscious rappers, a whole slew of conscious rappers that was telling us, you know, that we headed towards self-destruction. To the 90s, you know, you still had different artists who were still trying to put it out there, like Goody Mob and Outkast and whatnot. But after the 90s, you know, gangster rap really put a huge dent in our community as far as building a foundation that was sturdy. And we just need to understand as rappers that we do play a pivotal role within the way that our community is shaped and not take it lightly. You might not ask to be, I heard so many rappers say, I ain't asked to be a role model, you know, I didn't ask, but when you got in that spotlight, you are destined to be a role model, whether you want the position or not. You know, it's certain things that come along with certain positions that you just gotta play it how it go. Being in the spotlight does by default automatically make you a role model. So rappers that are conscious need to really push that out within the community, that we're not just rappers, we are influencers. And the ones who are unconscious may, you know, possibly be influenced by the ones who are conscious to do better. I know when we had that George Floyd thing going on, it was rappers coming out everywhere that was making songs that was dedicated to the cause, you know, and they don't just need to be something that comes and goes with the wind. We needed to stick. But the whole fact of the matter is it was those conscious rappers that was on the forefront when that went down that started coming out with the conscious songs and conscious videos that made the others that were unconscious want to get along, you know, get on the bandwagon, even if they was doing it because they saw it was trending. The fact of the matter is the more we put that out there, the more we wake up our people and make them aware of the circumstances that we all living in.
Okay, with that being said, it seems like T.I. is trying to make a transition.
From day one, T.I. always did drop some jewels out there with each song that he tried to put out there to let you know it's consequences to your actions. Even though I might be a trap star, I might be the king of trap, I'm letting you know I got 7 you know, charges or whatever, however many charges dude got. I you know, have a possibility of going to jail at any time, did go to jail. He let you know that even though I am a whole trap star out here, it's consequences to this. Don't live this life. I had to do this because it wasn't no way for me at that time. But it's plenty of ways and opportunities where we don't have to sell drugs no more. All we have to do is put our mind to it, because really the neighborhood drug pharmacist is the neighborhood chemist. You know, that skill can easily be transferred over to a skill that's legitimate. You out there cooking up rocks in the kitchen without blowing it up, you a whole chemist out here. So it's all about T.I. telling people that although, you know, I'm out here living this lifestyle, there are consequences to living like this, where they're gonna murk you, they're gonna assassinate you, they're gonna take you out. Because that's how much influence rappers have. And then somebody done got the T.I. status and he started trying to turn around, started talking about, I'm gonna put some conscious out here for my people. No, they ain't finna have that. They not finna have that because he got way too much influence now. He could take a gangster dude and turn a gangster dude, you know what I'm saying, to something respectable. Basically, they're gonna come after any conscious rapper because it's a whole entity out here who have been put in place to make sure that they are anti-Black establishment. They are anti-Black people doing whatever we can to better ourselves. And there is an agenda that any Black leader that rises within our community will be taken out by any means. I mean, whether it's they stick the IRS on you until you bend, which that kind of happened to Lil Wayne, from what I'm hearing, what happened with him. But I don't got all the details because I try to tune out of TV. I don't watch TV or listen to the news or none of that. But anyway, bottom line is, yeah, they're going to come after any rapper that has the kind of influence that T.I. has, because he is the poster boy of, if I came from the gutter, you can come from the gutter and make it too. Jay-Z is would be the ultimate example of that happening, him coming from Marcy Project and whatnot. But to be honest, I don't see Jay-Z ever doing it because money rules him. So I ain't saying he no sellout, but I'm saying if it comes down to it, money is more important. Building his empire is more important than building a collective empire for Black people. His personal empire is more important than the collective empire or the collective kingdom that we're trying to build. So yeah, I mean, that's it. T.I., they're gonna definitely come out to T.I. They're gonna definitely come out to anybody who actually decides that they want to stand up and try to better Black people.
And one of the reasons why I want to ask you that, being a queen, because if I say, because I just did a video speaking on it, me being a man, I could say what they doing is wrong to T.I., but you being a Black queen, you saying it, it'll bring a different light to it, because they'll be like, well, you got to be sensitive to the sisters. When you a woman, you know how this go, so it'll come better from you than me, if that makes sense.
I feel you. At this point, anybody who speaks up and decides that they want to be any kind of leader in the Black community is a direct target, and it has not changed. That's the reason why we don't have any Malcolms anymore, why we don't have any Martins anymore, why we don't have any Medgar Evers and all this. These are the people that they wanted to stump out. These type of brilliant minds that could stand up and be a leader in our community, they try to wipe them out. And then they try to dumb us down where it would never happen again. But that spirit lives in a lot of us. And there's a lot of us who will rebel. And we're going to use whatever method we possibly can to do it. If that means using our music, if that means using whatever other skills that we may have. But like I said, music is such a huge influence in the Black community. We've been using music. Sam Cooke was using music to fund the Civil Rights Movement, which also, he is not alive anymore either. So he used a whole bunch of his money to fund the Civil Rights Movement. A lot of people don't know that about Sam Cooke. And then he ended up dead. So either they silence you, they discredit you, or you end up dead if they can't control you. But all of this is about suppressing the African-American community to make sure that we never get to a state where we're equal with them, especially not financially. They want to make sure that we economically deprived in any way that is possible, whether it be counseling, cutting us out of the jobs, cutting us out of loans, redlining us, whatever it is, whatever method systems they have. But one main thing that they realize that works with Black people is music. Anybody who has studied our culture can tell you that. It doesn't even really take a genius to even realize it. We brought that over from Africa, and we have never strayed away from our music. So in order to control us consciously, they have to control the music. In order to control the music, they have to control the artists. And if the artists don't comply, then they do whatever they can to discredit them, which is probably what's getting ready to go on with T.I. And yes, I am saying that it is them using a tactic to discredit this man. T.I. don't have to hold no female at gunpoint. We have used our own people to try to get in and maneuver to basically let nobody in you had to have a Black card. You know what I mean? You had to have using a tactic to discredit this man. T.I. don't have to hold no female at gunpoint, period. It don't even make sense. And then they're gonna conjure up about 20 females to say the same thing, which are all gonna be paid. And I don't know what T.I. done did to piss them off, Illuminati, whoever. But he done pissed somebody off. And they gonna see to it that his credibility is shot. And there ain't a whole lot you gotta do to shoot T.I. credibility down, because he's a trap star. You could discredit him any kind of way. I'm surprised they ain't put no gun charges on him or put no drugs on him. They going to a whole esteem must have really cleaned his life up. They got to go do all of that, find some random thought somewhere to say that he done raped them or did whatever. Man ain't did that, man. Nah, I don't believe it.
I'm gonna ask you one more question, then we'll get up out of here. What do you think about the people the plants that they put in our community who look like us, who they pay off in, like, even with this situation or with these fake elections and stuff like that? What's your thoughts on that? And then we'll get on up out of here.
What, on agents in our community, people infiltrating our community?
Basically.
That's been happening since the beginning of time. They say Du Bois was a informant for Marcus Garvey. You know, he was an FBI informant that was paid to take Marcus Garvey out. Of course, we know the Panthers had been infiltrated, and so was the Nation of Islam was infiltrated. They always have to find some kind of way to get in the mix in our culture. And because at one point, Black people was hella smart, we knew not to let nobody in you had to have a Black card. You know what I mean? You had to have a Black pass and approval to be a part of our culture. We wouldn't let just anybody be a part of our culture. We wouldn't let anybody copy our culture. So they always had to use one of us to defeat us, because we had it so tight knit that could nobody just act black, as they would say. Nobody could just get in where they fit in with the Black community. You had to have a rites of passage to get in here, especially if you was white. You had to have soul. We'll be like, he can get in. He got soul. She got a little soul. She can get in. You had to have soul to be a part of our class, a part of our community. So in order for us to trust people, you had to first have a Black face. So they always have used our own people to try to get in and maneuver to basically break everything apart. They had to dismantle the Panther Party that same way, because they wasn't just letting anybody be a part of that. And with that being said, I'm saying a lot, just to bring it back to the hip hop part, I'm saying a lot of that go on. I ain't gonna lie, they broke through hip hop because we was real protective over hip hop. Hip hop was our last baby that we created. You know, they had already took rock and roll from us. They had already taken shit. A lot of people don't even know we came up with country music. Country music was when the slaves used to turn the violin around and pluck it, you know, like a fiddle. And if you look at some of the slave movies, you're gonna always see a fiddler in there playing a little, banjo, or playing the violin turned up, pricking it. Okay, that's country music. That's the roots of country music. So they have stolen almost every music that we have brought to the world to share with the world. And then you get to rap. We ain't made nothing since rap. There's no new music that Black people have put out since rap. And so we were very, very protective of who we let in the rap game. And Black women couldn't even get in the rap game until, Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. We had a few Black women who were in there. MC Lyte and Queen Latifah made their way in. But once they got in, it was like, all right, that's enough females in there. We ain't let no more women in either. So we were very, very protective about rap. And then you had Vanilla Ice who tried to slide in there. You know what I mean? And we found out he was a fake. We was going to accept him because he could dance. Vanilla Ice could dance. He was going, toe to toe with Hammer at the time. That was his only competitor, or whatever. And true enough, he was still a lot of Hammer dances, but he could do it. We couldn't find, at that point, it wasn't no white people who could even move like we move, because you got to have soul to move like that. You got to have melanin to make those kind of moves, or even to rap. And so we were like, nah. After Vanilla Ice, we was like, y'all almost got us, but we ain't let nobody else in here because they all fake. Then Eminem came along about 10, 15 years later. And so we let him in because Eminem seemed to have the same background, same story. He came from poverty. He lived in the slum somewhere. He had a single mom and all. It was almost a lot of similarities with the Black experience. So, and he showed a little soul, and he could rhyme. And he wrote his own rhymes, which at the time, that was big too. It wasn't no ghostwriters like that. didn't even allow that. You couldn't, if you ain't write your own rhymes, you couldn't be no rapper. I don't know what this new stuff is, but you could not hold the title of a rapper if you could not write your own rhymes. What would you rapping for? That's like an architect that don't know how to make a blueprint. You know what I mean? So at one point in time, you couldn't even get in the rap game if you could not rap. Eminem could write his own rhymes. He had a little soul and he came from the same background. But that was a mistake for us to let him in. Not because the Eminem did anything to sell us out. To my knowledge, Eminem ain't never disrespected the Black culture. But when we let him in, that's when it opened the floodgate for the rest of them to start coming in. Okay, and they used that on purpose. They knew, Eminem knew that they was going to use him to break the barrier of letting white rappers into the game. He knew that. But at the same time, he wasn't really necessarily playing off of it for his own gain and benefit. He always turned around and gave the credit back to this ain't my music. You know, gave the credit back to the founders of it, to Black people. But these new rappers that's coming in, these new white rappers that's coming in, like you had Iggy, so disrespectful, excuse me. Iggy was so disrespectful to the Black culture, it wasn't even funny. But she was able to make it in because she had big lips and she had a big butt and she used Black people as a prop in her video. And they always use these little tricks. They'll put Black people in the video surrounding, like they at the party, they at the club with them. Because when we see them Black people in the video, we be like, oh, they all right, they got some Black people with them, so we allow them to come in. These are all props. These are things that are props or whatever. These are things that they're using in order to make us accept these artists. But you got some artists like Post Malone and all that, man, we would have never let, who was the other little snitch, the little rat?
Tekashi.
What was his name? Yeah, man, we would have never let him in the game. Is you serious? If Pac was alive, that dude wouldn't even have no freaking career. And that's why we don't have no checks and balances either. Because Pac pretty much can make or break your career. If he said you was phony, then your career was over. He almost broke heavyweight competition career. Jay-Z at the time, he almost ruined his career, almost ruined Nas, Mobb Deep. A lot of folks from the South wouldn't even, and West Coast wouldn't even fool with Biggie just because Pac didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have any checks and balances. We don't have nobody calling nobody out no more when they come in the game. You got to come through the veterans of the game first before you can come in doing all this and that. And these new rappers don't respect the veterans at all. So that's how they coming in with the trash. That's how they coming in and infiltrating the rap game with a lot of these watered down rappers, but not only that, with rappers that don't fit our culture. And then next thing you know, rap will not be a part of our culture anymore. They're already trying to make some of these white rappers the best rappers that ever lived. I'm like, how they gonna be the best rappers that ever lived? Now, I know some dudes on the street right now that can out-rap them and write their own rhymes. So with that being said, yeah, that's what we moving to. They moving to removing the culture from us, and they are infiltrating the culture. And if we don't stop it and don't get a handle on it, then we won't have a culture. Everything that belongs to us is being removed. And even to our music, we can't even have control of our own music no more. If it weren't for us, the world wouldn't even have no music. And that's just to be real, that's not even an exaggeration. So yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. That's what I feel about it.
Man, this is the Deprogram Show. This is the king talking to the queen.